Top 20 best upcoming survival games for 2023. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel where we bring you the latest news and updates on the gaming world. Today, we're bringing you a list of the top 20 best upcoming survival games for 2023. In this video, we'll be reviewing each game, discussing their pros and cons, release dates, and platforms they'll be available on. If you're a fan of the survival genre, then this video is definitely for you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. Dead Space Remake. If you love sci-fi horror games, you'll be excited to hear that Dead Space is getting a remake. Dead Space is a classic survival horror game that was released in 2008 and received critical acclaim for its immersive atmosphere, terrifying enemies, and innovative gameplay. The remake will be developed by Motive Studios and published by Electronic Arts. It will be released on January 27th to 23 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. The remake will offer an even more immersive experience with improved visuals, audio, and gameplay, while staying faithful to the original game's thrilling vision. In Dead Space, you play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer who is sent to repair the USEG Ishimura, a massive spaceship that is used for mining planets for resources. However, when you arrive at the ship, you find out that something has gone horribly wrong. The crew has been slaughtered by horrific creatures called necromorphs, which are reanimated corpses that can mutate into different forms. You have to survive against these deadly foes using your engineering tools and weapons that can dismember them limb by limb. You also have to solve puzzles, hack terminals, and navigate through zero-gravity environments. The game features a unique health system that displays your health and stasis meter on your suit's spine instead of a HUD. Dead Space is a game that will keep you on the edge of your seat with its intense action and suspenseful atmosphere. It's not for the faint of heart, but if you're looking for a challenge and a thrill, you won't want to miss this remake. Pros of the game? A faithful remake of one of the best survival horror games ever made. Enhanced graphics, sound and gameplay, a rich sci-fi setting with a compelling story, innovative combat system that rewards strategic dismemberment. Cons of the game: not suitable for people who are easily scared or squeamish, may be too difficult or frustrating for some players, may not offer much new content or features compared to the original game. Platform: PC, Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS. Date: January 27th, 2023. Price: $59.99 USD. Occupy Mars, the game. Have you ever dreamed of living on Mars? If so, you might want to check out Occupy Mars, the game, a highly technical open-world sandbox game about Mars colonization. Occupy Mars is developed by Pyramid Games and will be released on Steam sometime in 2023. In Occupy Mars, you play as an astronaut who is part of a team that is sent to establish a permanent human presence on the Red Planet. You have to build and upgrade your base, discover new amazing regions, conduct mining operations, retrieve water and generate oxygen, grow crops, and fix broken parts. You also have to deal with harsh weather conditions, dust storms, and solar flares. Occupy Mars is inspired by the most promising technologies and companies that are working toward becoming a multi-planet species. You can use realistic vehicles and tools such as rovers, cranes, drills, and 3D printers. You can also customize your base with various modules and decorations. Occupy Mars is a game that will challenge your engineering skills and creativity. It's also a game that will let you explore the wonders of Mars and learn more about its history and geology. If you're interested in space exploration and simulation games, you should definitely keep an eye on this one. Pros of the game: a realistic and immersive simulation of Mars colonization. A large, open world with diverse regions to explore. A lot of freedom and options to build your base. A dynamic weather system that affects gameplay. Cons of the game: a high learning curve that may require some patience, a lack of clear objectives or guidance, some technical issues or bugs that may affect performance. Platform: PC, Steam. Date: 23. West Dynasty. If you're a fan of Western movies and games, you might want to check out West Dynasty. a story-driven mix of RPG, city builder, life simulation, and survival set in the American 1800s. West Dynasty is developed by Moon Punch Studio and published by Toplitz Productions. It will be released on February 16, 2023 for PC, Steam. In West Dynasty, you play as a lone survivor who has to find a place to call your own and build the foundations of your settlement for generations to come. You have to provide food and wealth for yourself and your settlers, who will join you in your quest for happiness. You also have to deal with your history and write your own story by making choices that will affect your reputation and relationships. West Dynasty lets you experience the life of a cowboy, settler, or gunslinger in the Wild West. You can build farms, raise cattle, dig for gold, or build settlements and towns. You can also explore the vast open world with different biomes and landmarks. You can interact with various characters and factions that will offer you quests or challenges. You can also face dangers such as bandits, wild animals, or natural disasters. West Dynasty is a game that will let you create your own dynasty that will last for decades as you shape the Wild West. It's also a game that will let you enjoy the freedom and adventure of living in one of the most iconic periods of American history. Pros of the game: a unique blend of genres that offers variety and depth, a large open world with different regions to explore, a dynamic story system that adapts to your choices, a realistic simulation of life in the Wild West. Cons of the game: a high system requirement that may limit some players, a lack of voice acting or facial animations, some bugs or glitches that may affect gameplay. Platform PC to Steam. Date: February 16, 2023. Price: $39.99 USD. Sons of the Forest. If you're a fan of survival horror games and you enjoyed The Forest, you might want to check out The Sons of the Forest, a sequel that takes place several years after the events of the first game. Sons of the Forest is developed by Night Games and published by New Night. It was released on February 23, 2023 via Early Access for PC, Steam. In Sons of the Forest, you play as a member of an elite military unit that is sent to investigate a mysterious island that is inhabited by mutated creatures and cannibals. You have to survive and uncover new mysteries on a lush, temperate island that has different biomes and seasons. You also have to craft weapons and tools, build shelters and defenses, hunt animals and plants, and fight or befriend the natives. Sons of the Forest is a game that will test your survival skills and your sanity. It's also a game that will let you experience a rich story with multiple endings and secrets. You can play solo or co-op with up to 4 players online. Pros of the game: a stunning graphics engine that creates realistic environments, a dynamic gameplay system that adapts to your actions, a complex AI system that makes the enemies unpredictable, a lot of content and replay value. Cons of the game: a high difficulty level that may frustrate some players, a lack of tutorials or guidance, some bugs or glitches that may affect gameplay. Platform PC, Steam. Date: February 23rd, 2023, Early Access. Price: $29.99 USD. System Shock Redux. System Shock Redux is a remake of the classic PC cyberpunk shooter that was released in 1994. It's developed by Night Dive Studios, and it promises to deliver a faithful and modernized version of the original game, with enhanced graphics, gameplay, and audio. In System Shock Redux, you play as a hacker who wakes up on a space station called Citadel after being put into a coma by an evil artificial intelligence named Shodan. You have to fight your way through hordes of hostile robots and mutants, while uncovering the secrets of Shodan's plans and your own identity. System Shock Redux is a game that will appeal to fans of immersive sims like Deus Ex and BioShock, as well as horror fans who enjoy atmospheric and tense environments. The game features RPG elements like inventory management, hacking, upgrading skills and weapons, and multiple endings depending on your choices. The game also has a dynamic music system that adapts to your actions and surroundings. Pros of the game: it's a faithful remake of one of the most influential games in gaming history. It has stunning visuals that bring Citadel to life with realistic lighting, shadows, and textures. It has improved controls and user interface that make it more accessible for modern players. It has a rich story with memorable characters and voice acting. It has multiple difficulty modes that let you customize your experience. Cons of the game. It may be too challenging or frustrating for some players who are not used to old-school design. It may be too dated or familiar for some players who have played the original game or its sequels. It may have some bugs or glitches due to being a remake. System Shock Redux is expected to release in early 2023 for PC, Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. The price is not yet announced, but you can wishlist it on Steam or pre-order it on GOEG.com. Voidtrain. Voidtrain is an open-world survival game developed by Nearga, an indie studio based in Russia. It was released in early access on the Epic Games Store in August 2021, and it's expected to launch on Steam in October 2023. In Voidtrain, you become a crew member of an interdimensional express train that travels through different worlds full of mysterious creatures, dangers, and surprises. Voidtrain is a game that will appeal to fans of physics-based games like Raft and Scrap Mechanic, as well as fans of exploration and crafting games like Subnautica and No Man's Sky. The game features a unique train-building system that lets you customize your locomotive with various modules, weapons, and decorations. The game also has a dynamic environment system that changes depending on your actions and choices. Pros of the game: it has a beautiful and diverse art style that blends steampunk and fantasy elements. It has a fun and challenging gameplay loop that involves gathering resources, crafting items, fighting enemies, and upgrading your train. It has a co-op mode that lets you play with up to 4 friends online. It has a rich lore and story that unfolds as you explore different worlds. Cons of the game: it may be too repetitive or grindy for some players who prefer more variety or progression. It may be too buggy or unstable for some players who expect a polished experience. It may have some balance issues or exploits due to being an early access game. Voidtrain is available now for PC, Windows, on the Epic Games Store for $29.99 USD. You can also wishlist it on Steam or follow it on social media for updates. Nightingale. Nightingale is a survival sandbox game developed by Inflection Games, a new studio founded by former BioWare developers. It was announced in December 2021, and it's expected to release in early access on PC, Windows in late 2023. In Nightingale, you play as a pioneer who travels through a portal to a mysterious world called Aetherion, where you have to survive and build your own settlement with other players. Nightingale is a game that will appeal to fans of fantasy and adventure games like Valheim and The Elder Scrolls Online, as well as fans of base building and crafting games like Rust and Minecraft. The game features a dynamic world that changes according to your actions and the seasons. The game also has a shared world system that lets you visit other players' realms or invite them to yours. Pros of the game: it has a stunning and immersive world that blends magic and technology. It has a deep and engaging gameplay loop that involves gathering resources, crafting items, building structures, and defending your settlement. It has a social aspect that lets you cooperate or compete with other players online. It has a rich lore and story that unfolds as you explore different regions. Cons of the game: it may be too ambitious or complex for some players who prefer simpler or more casual games. It may be too unfinished or unbalanced for some players who expect a smooth experience. It may have some technical issues or bugs due to being an early access game. Nightingale is not yet available for purchase, but you can sign up for its newsletter or follow it on social media for updates. Honeycomb. Honeycomb is a first-person open-world survival sandbox where you become a bioengineer 9. You can explore a vast alien planet full of exotic flora and fauna, collect DNA samples from different creatures, and use them to create your own hybrid animals. You can also craft tools, weapons, vehicles, and bases to survive in this hostile environment. Honeycomb looks like a promising game for fans of sci-fi and biology. The game boasts stunning graphics and realistic physics that make the world feel alive and immersive. The gameplay offers a lot of freedom and creativity to experiment with different combinations of DNA and see how they affect your creations. The game also features a dynamic weather system, day-night cycle, seasons, and natural disasters that add challenge and variety to your experience. Pros of the game: beautiful graphics and physics, creative DNA system, open-world exploration, crafting and building. Cons of the game: no release date yet, potential bugs and glitches, high system requirements. Platform: Honeycomb will be available on Windows PC. Date: the game does not have an official release date yet, but it is expected to launch sometime in 2023. Price: the game does not have an official price yet, but it is likely to be around $40-60 USD. Wildmender. Wildmender is a co-op survival game where you face the challenge of restoring the environment. You can explore a procedurally generated desert alone or with your friends, craft new tools, and use them to bring life back to a dying world. You can also befriend local wildlife and defend the land from the vicious wraiths who seek to corrupt it. Wildmender is a game that combines survival, exploration, and gardening elements. The game offers a relaxing and rewarding experience as you see your actions transform the barren landscape into a vibrant oasis. The game also has a dynamic weather system, day-night cycle, seasons and events that affect your gameplay. The game supports up to 4 players online co-op, so you can share your adventure with your friends or other players. Pros of the game: procedurally generated world, environmental restoration, wildlife interaction, online co-op. Cons of the game: early access stage, limited content, possible bugs and glitches. Platform: Wildmender will be available on Windows PC. Date: the game is currently in early access stage on Steam, and it is expected to be fully released sometime in 2023. Price: the game has an early access price of $19.99 USD on Steam. The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria is a survival crafting game set in the 4th Age of Middle-earth. You can join forces with other players to reclaim the legendary home of the dwarves beneath the misty mountains. You can explore, craft, build, and fight in the iconic sprawling mines of Moria. You will also encounter mysterious dangers and ancient secrets that lurk in the dark. The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria is a game that will appeal to fans of Tolkien's lore and survival genre. The game promises an authentic and immersive experience that captures the atmosphere and history of Moria. The game also features a dynamic world that changes based on your actions and choices. The game supports up to 8 players online co-op, so you can share your adventure with your friends or other Tolkien enthusiasts. Pros of the game: officially licensed by Tolkien Estate, authentic and immersive world, dynamic and interactive environment, online co-op. Cons of the game: no release date yet, possible microtransactions, high expectations from fans. Platform: The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria will be available on Windows PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS. Date: the game does not have an official release date yet, but it is expected to launch sometime in 2023. Price: the game does not have an official price yet, but it is likely to be around $60-80 USD. Forever Skies. Forever Skies is a first-person post-apocalyptic survival game. You return to Earth ravaged by an ecological disaster. You fly, upgrade, and customize your mobile high-tech airship base. You scavenge resources to survive, face dangers on the surface, and hunt for viral pathogens to cure a mysterious illness. Forever. Skies is a game that combines exploration, crafting, and combat elements. The game offers a realistic and immersive experience that depicts the horrors of climate change. The game also features a dynamic weather system, day-night cycle, seasons, and events that affect your gameplay. The game supports up to 4 players online co-op, so you can share your adventure with your friends or other players. Pros of the game: realistic and immersive world, dynamic and interactive environment, online co-op Kickstarter campaign. Cons of the game: early access stage, limited content, possible bugs and glitches. Platform: Forever. Skies will be available on Windows PC. Date: the game is currently in early access stage on Steam, and it is expected to be fully released sometime in 2023. Price: the game has an early access price of $24.99 USD on Steam. Wanderlost. Wanderlost is a zombie survival RPG that challenges you to survive and thrive in a post-apocalyptic world. You will have to gather materials, craft weapons and tools, build and fortify a shelter, explore a massive world filled with secrets and dangers, and avoid the hordes of undead that roam the land. The game features a rich and dynamic open world with day and night cycles, weather effects, seasons, and biomes. You can choose how you want to play, whether you want to farm, fish, hunt, trap, loot, trade, or quest. You can also interact with other survivors who may help you or harm you depending on your actions. The game also has a deep crafting system that lets you create hundreds of items from resources you find or grow. You can craft anything from weapons and armor to furniture and vehicles. You can also customize your character with skills, perks, traits, clothing, and appearance. The game also has a realistic simulation of hunger, thirst, fatigue, temperature, health, and injuries. You will have to manage your needs carefully and plan ahead for any situation. You will also have to deal with infections, diseases, poisonings, broken bones, and other hazards. Pros of the game: a rich and dynamic open world with day and night cycles, weather effects, seasons, and biomes. A variety of gameplay options such as farming, fishing, hunting, trapping, looting, trading, and questing. A deep crafting system that lets you create hundreds of items from resources you find or grow. A realistic simulation of hunger, thirst, fatigue, temperature, health, and injuries. A customizable character with skills, perks, traits, clothing, and appearance. Cons of the game: the game is still in development and may have bugs or missing features. The game may be too difficult or frustrating for some players who prefer more casual or arcade-like experiences. The game may require a high-end PC to run smoothly. Platform: PC. Dissident Frostland Escape. Imagine a world where you are a prisoner in a frozen wasteland, forced to work for a ruthless regime that controls everything. You have no rights, no freedom, no hope, but you have a chance to escape. Will you take it? Dissident. Frostland Escape is a survival game that puts you in the shoes of a dissident who decides to flee from a labor camp. You will have to face many challenges and dangers along the way, such as hunger, thirst, cold, enemies, and wildlife. You will also have to make tough decisions that will affect your fate and the fate of others. The game offers a rich and immersive world with dynamic weather and day-night cycle. You can explore different locations, scavenge for resources, craft tools and weapons, stealth or fight your way through obstacles, and interact with other characters. The game also features a branching narrative with multiple endings based on your choices. Pros of the game: a unique setting and premise that explores themes of oppression, resistance, and survival. A rich and immersive world with dynamic weather and day-night cycle that affects gameplay. A branching narrative with moral dilemmas and consequences that shape your story. Cons of the game: no release date announced yet, no multiplayer or co-op mode, potential bugs and glitches as an indie game. Platform: PC, Steam. Stalker 2, Heart of Chornobyl. Stalker 2, Heart of Chornobyl is a next-gen sequel to the award-winning PC game franchise developed by GSC Game World. It is a first-person shooter with elements of immersive sim and horror set in the post-apocalyptic Chornobyl exclusion zone. You will play as a stalker, an explorer who ventures into the zone in search of artifacts, secrets, and fortune. You will face mutants, anomalies, factions, and other dangers in this open-world sandbox. The game promises to deliver a unique action experience with a non-linear story, advanced AI system, realistic graphics and physics, modding support, and ray tracing technology. Pros of the game: a highly anticipated sequel to a cult classic series. A vast and detailed open world with dynamic events and weather. A non-linear story with multiple endings and choices that matter. Cons of the game: a long development history with several delays and cancellations, a high system requirement for PC players, a possible lack of polish and optimization. Platform: PC, Steam. Xbox Series X, S. Date: April 28, 2023. Price: $59.99 USD. Winter Survival Simulator. Winter Survival Simulator is a survival game developed by Polish studio Drago Entertainment and published by Movie Games. The project was created in cooperation with the traveler Marek Kaminski, who made history as the first lonely conqueror of both poles of the Earth. Winter Survival Simulator takes us to the American Mount Washington State Park, where we have to survive in harsh winter conditions until rescue arrives. In this game, you will have to manage your resources, craft items, hunt for food, and deal with various threats such as wild animals, frostbite, and hypothermia. You will also have to monitor your sanity level, which can affect your decisions and actions. The game features realistic weather effects, dynamic day and night cycle, and a procedurally generated map that changes every time you play. Pros of the game: a unique sanity system that adds depth and challenge to the survival gameplay. A realistic and immersive winter environment that tests your skills and adaptability. A procedurally generated map that offers replay value and variety. Cons of the game: the game is still in development and may have bugs or glitches. The game may be too difficult or frustrating for some players who are not used to survival games. The game may not appeal to players who prefer more action-oriented or story-driven games. Platform: PC. Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk 2 is the sequel to the highly acclaimed BAFTA-nominated society survival game that blended city building, strategy, and management gameplay. Its successor takes place 30 years after the apocalyptic blizzard storm, and Earth is still overwhelmed by the icy climate of never-ending frost and harsh weather. In this game, you will have to lead a city of survivors who rely on oil as their new source of energy. You will have to balance your resources, laws, policies, and morale as you face new challenges and dilemmas. You will also have to deal with other factions who may have different agendas and interests. The game features a rich story mode with multiple endings, a sandbox mode for endless replayability, and a co-op mode for up to 4 players. Pros of the game: a deep and engaging society survival gameplay that forces you to make tough choices. A stunning and atmospheric steampunk world that immerses you in its lore and history. A co-op mode that lets you cooperate or compete with other players. Cons of the game: the game may be too dark or depressing for some players who prefer more cheerful or optimistic games. The game may be too complex or overwhelming for some players who are not familiar with its mechanics or genre. The game may not offer much innovation or variety from its predecessor. Platform: PC. Survival Machine. Survival Machine is a third-person survival adventure game with a colorful theme. You travel through ever-changing lands on the Great Machine, which serves as your base. You can play solo or in co-op with friends. Survival Machine is your precious home. You can build on top of this ever-moving base and adapt it to your needs. In this game, you will have to scavenge for resources, craft items, fight zombies, and explore different biomes. You will also have to maintain your machine and upgrade it with various modules and weapons. The game features a dynamic weather system, a day and night cycle, and a procedurally generated world that offers endless possibilities. Pros of the game: a unique concept of a mobile base that adds fun and creativity to the survival gameplay. A colorful and vibrant art style that contrasts with the dark theme of the zombie apocalypse. A co-op mode that lets you share your adventure with other players. Cons of the game: the game is still in development and may have bugs or glitches. The game may be too easy or casual for some players who prefer more realistic or hardcore survival games. The game may not offer much depth or variety in terms of story or gameplay. Platform: PC. Smalland. Survive the Wilds. Smalland. Survive the Wilds is an open-world survival game where you play as a tiny creature who has been shrunk to the size of a blade of grass. You have to survive in a vast, hazardous world where everything is bigger and more dangerous than you. You can enjoy multiplayer survival with up to 16 players online. Preparation is key when you're this small and at the bottom of the food chain. In this game, you will have to craft weapons and armor, tame and ride creatures, build encampments, and explore a strange new land. You will also have to deal with weather effects, seasons, hunger, thirst, diseases, and predators. The game features a dynamic ecosystem where every creature has its own behavior and role. Pros of the game: a unique perspective of survival that challenges you to adapt to a different scale of life. A beautiful and immersive world that offers many secrets and surprises. A multiplayer mode that lets you cooperate or compete with other players. Cons of the game: The game is still in early access and may have bugs or glitches. The game may be too hard or frustrating for some players who are not used to survival games. The game may not appeal to players who prefer more realistic or serious games. Platform PC. Date March 29th, 23. Early access. State of Decay 3. The State of Decay 3 is an upcoming State of Decay. 3 is the latest installment in the popular survival franchise from Undead Labs. While the game retains the core mechanics of the series, such as base building and resource gathering, it also introduces some new features, such as the ability to recruit animal companions. The game's open-world environment is also larger and more detailed than ever before, with a variety of new locations to explore. However, some fans have criticized the game for lacking significant new features and for being too similar to previous entries in the series. Pros of the game: open-world environment, resource gathering and base-building mechanics, ability to recruit survivors. Cons of the game: lack of new features, repetitive gameplay, platform, Xbox Series, XS, PC. Palworld. Palworld is an upcoming survival game that combines elements of the survival and creature collection genres. The game's unique breeding mechanic, where players can breed and raise their own pals, has generated a lot of interest among fans. The game also features an open-world environment, crafting and resource-gathering mechanics, and a variety of different pals to collect and raise. However, the game's developers have not released much information on the game's mechanics or story, leaving fans eager for more details. Pros of the game: unique breeding mechanic, crafting and resource gathering mechanics, open world environment. Cons of the game: lack of information on gameplay mechanics, no release date announced. Platform PC. Level 0. Level 0 is an upcoming survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world. The game features an open-world environment, crafting and resource-gathering mechanics, and a multiplayer mode. However, like Palworld, the game's developers have not released much information on the game's mechanics or story, leaving fans with more questions than answers. Nonetheless, the game's unique setting and multiplayer mode have generated some excitement among fans of the survival genre. Pros of the game: crafting and resource-gathering mechanics, open-world environment, multiplayer mode. Cons of the game: lack of information on gameplay mechanics, no release date announced. Platform PC. That's it for now, guys. We hope you found this video informative. Be sure to let us know in the comments which game you're most excited for. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.